Let me ask you something. What's the most valuable thing you possess? Is it your money? Your house? What if it's something you can't even see or hold? Today, we're diving into a really profound idea from Islamic tradition, that every single moment isn't just passing you by. It's actively watching you, and one day, it's going to tell your story. Okay, so let's really run with that idea for a second. Imagine that every day you live isn't just a block of 24 hours. Imagine it's a conscious witness. And at the very end of everything, each one of those days is called to the stand to give its testimony about you. What would yesterday say? What about today? And look, this isn't just some nice poetic idea. It's actually at the heart of a narration from the classical scholar Qurtubi. It suggests that each day literally speaks to us, saying, hey, I'm new, I'm watching you, and I'm your witness. And it gives us this really stark reminder. This is a one-time shot. Once a day is gone, it is gone forever. It's not coming back. Well, not until it's called to testify. You know, when you think about it like that, it completely changes your relationship with time, right? It's no longer just this passive, neutral thing in the background of our lives. In this view, time is an active, accountable entity. Every single second is being recorded, and every single action is being noted. And if you thought that was serious, the significance of time gets elevated to the absolute highest level possible in the Quran. It's not just talked about or mentioned here and there. God himself swears an oath by it. So there's this chapter in the Quran, it's called Al-Asr, and it kicks off with this incredibly powerful, super short oath, Wal Asr, which means by time. Now, in Islamic theology, when God swears an oath by something, that's our cue to sit up and pay serious attention. It basically signals that what's about to be said is of absolute, non-negotiable importance. So, what's so important that it needs an oath by time itself? Well, it's a pretty striking diagnosis of the human condition. The chapter says that, by our very nature, we are all in a state of loss. So the default setting is loss. It's like we're all running a business that's constantly leaking its most precious capital, our time. But the chapter doesn't just leave us there, feeling hopeless. It gives us a crystal clear, four-part path to turn that loss into massive profit. It says we need to combine faith with doing good deeds and then build a community that encourages each other towards truth and towards patience. It's a whole framework for a successful life. So all of this really points to one massive idea: accountability. If time is our most valuable asset and we're naturally losing it, then it makes perfect sense that we'll be held responsible for how we used it or wasted it. See, time isn't something you're just given, it's a trust. And this accountability, it gets really specific. A famous prophetic tradition tells us that on the Day of Judgment, we literally can't move an inch until we answer 4 questions. And just look at them. Half of this entire life audit is directly about time. First, your whole life, and then your youth is singled out specifically. Why? Because youth is when we have the most energy, the most potential. It's our prime investment period. Okay, so if time is our capital and we're in danger of losing it, how do we turn things around? Well, this is where we get into what you could basically call a spiritual investment plan. The sources give us clear guidance on how to make sure our spiritual portfolio is profitable. So here's a look at the portfolio of, let's say, blue-chip spiritual investments. You've got the things you'd expect, right? Good deeds, seeking knowledge, remembering God. But look closer. It also includes things we might think are just worldly stuff, like being productive, having excellence in our work, and honoring our commitments. The whole point is to make every single moment count. This is where the idea of itqan, or excellence, really shines. It's this beautiful concept that means your 9-to-5 job, your studies, even your chores, when you do them with real diligence and the right intention, they get transformed into acts of worship. You're actually honoring the gift of time by filling it with quality. How amazing is that? And to really hammer home just how urgent all this is, there's another powerful prophetic teaching that frames our lives as a series of fleeting opportunities we have to grab before they just vanish. This teaching is such a direct call to action. Take advantage of your youth before old age hits, your health before you get sick, your wealth before you face poverty, your free time before you're totally swamped, and your life before death. Each one of these is a precious temporary gift, and it's paired with its inevitable end. The message is practically screaming at us: the time to act is always now. And if you're still not convinced of the stakes, listen to this absolutely mind-blowing perspective from the great scholar Ibn al-Qayyim. He says that wasting time is spiritually more dangerous than death itself. His reasoning? Death just separates you from this temporary world. Wasting time, he says, separates you from God and from your ultimate purpose. Wow. Just let that sink in for a second. And that brings us right back to where we started. Time is ticking. This day is drawing to a close, and it has been a witness. So the final question, the one that we're all left with, is a personal one. What will today's testimony be about you?